What's up guys, welcome to my channel. In this video today, I will be sharing with you step by step how you can apply for your US visas from the Bahamas. And this is for all visa types, whether it be a tourist visa or visitor's visa, work visas, student visas, you name it. This is the application that you'll use to apply. What matters is the visa type that you select during the application process. So guys, with that said, let's jump right into it. So you want to go to this website here, ceac.state.gov. The link will be in the description of the video, so you don't have to worry too much about that, right? Now once you're on this page, from the drop down you want to select your country, which is the Bahamas, right? Now here's some additional information about applying for your visas. Neither possession of a previous visa nor application for a visa serves as a guarantee that the applicant will be issued a new visa. Consul will consider each application on its own merits at the time of the interview. Applicants must upload a photo to complete the DS-160 form, right? If your photo does not properly upload the first time, most likely it is the size of the photo. So please reduce the size of the photo and try again, right? Nothing to worry about because I'll show you how to do that, right? After completing the DS-160, you must schedule your interview. I've done a video on that as well. I'll leave a link to a description in this video. Applicants age 14 plus must appear in person for an interview, right? You can view additional information on this website here. The link will be in the description of this video. So let me close this. Right, so the next step is to enter this code shown on the screen. And once you do that, you select start an application. Now select I agree, and before you move on, you need to keep track of your application ID. This is very important. Once you save this, then you go down to the next section and select your security questions, right? And then provide an answer. This will be used to retrieve your application later on, right? And then once you do that, you select continue. So on this page, you're going to specify your surname and your given names. This would be just like how it appears in your passport. So it would be like your first name and last name, depending on how your passport looks. Full name in native alphabet, select does not apply. Have you ever used any other names? No. Do you have a telecode for your name? No. Select your sex, male. Select your marital status, select what best applies to you. So here you're going to specify your date and your place of birth. So I specified January 1st, 1990, city, Nassau, state or province, Nassau, and the country is Bahamas. So you're going to scroll down and select next to personal information too. Select your country or region of nationality. Bahamas. Do you hold or held any other nationalities, right? I'm going to say no. Are you a permanent resident of another country? I'm going to say no. However, select what best applies to you. Now here you're going to specify your national identification number. If you do not have one, select does not apply. And the same thing for the social security number as well as the US taxpayer ID. So here I'm going to select does not apply. Then select next to travel. Now this is the important page where you decide on which visa type you want to apply for. So for a visitor's visa, right, it's temporary business pleasure. And from that it gives you another option to specify which one. So from the drop down, you're going to select business and tourism temporary visitor's visa if you're applying for a visitor's visa, right, just to travel to the United States, right? So for example, if you're a work and travel student, then you're going to select the J visa, which is exchange visitor. Now when you select specify, it's going to ask you which one, and it's going to be exchange visitor, which is J1, right? So I'm going to switch back to the visitors one, which is B1, B2. Have you made any specific travel plans? If I select yes, it asks me the date of arrival, city which I will arrive, and the departure flight, right? Now, if I select no, it's going to ask you for the intended date of arrival. So I'm just going to say the 1st, January 2024. How long do you intend to stay? I'm going to say 3 weeks. And then complete the address where you'll be staying in the United States. Now, if you don't have anywhere to stay, you can always use like the address of a hotel because, hey, you're traveling as a tourist, right? Person paying for your trip, I'm going to select self. Select next for travel companions. Are you traveling with others? Select what best applies to you. If you select yes, then it's going to ask you additional information about them. So if you select yes, then it's going to ask you for their name. However, I'm going to select no and then select next. Have you ever been in the United States? No. Have you ever been issued a US visa? I'm going to say no. Have you ever been refused a US visa? I'm going to say no. Has anyone ever filed an immigrant petition on your behalf? I'm going to say no and then select next. Here you're going to specify your home address. So ensure you complete your information accurately, right? The first line of address is required. The second line not required. Your city and state, right? You don't have to specify the state. You could select does not apply. Then for your region, you're going to select Bahamas. And for the mailing address, you're going to select what best applies to you. Specify your phone number, right? For the secondary and work phone number, you can select does not apply. Have you ever used any other phone numbers in the last 5 years? I'm going to select no, select what best applies to you. Here you can provide your email address and they'll ask you again, have you used any other email address in the last 5 years? If you select yes, they'll ask you to provide it, that's all. Do you use any social media platforms? If yes, select the ones that you do. So I'm just going to say Facebook here. So I just got kicked out of the application and this is why it's very important that you store your application ID. So to re-log in, I'm going to select Bahamas, enter the code shown on the screen, and then select retrieve an application. Here you're going to enter the application ID. Select retrieve application, enter the first 5 letters of your surname, year of birth, and your mother's given name. So let's retrieve. So let's retrieve application. Now it will pick up where you last saved the information. So I have to go hit next and go over to the steps that I completed, right? So I'm going to select does not apply for the phone numbers, no for the email address, and for the social media platform I'm going to select Facebook. Specify your social media identifier. I'm just going to say Arcia. If you have others, you can select add to add it, right? Do you wish to provide information about your presence on any other website? I'm going to select no and continue. So from the drop down, select your passport type. More often than not, it's a regular passport. Select your passport number. For the book number, you can say it does not apply. So from the drop down list, you're going to select the country which your passport was issued. So here I'm just going to specify my city and state, right? Enter your date of issuance, January the 1st, say 2020, and the expiry date. Ensure you confirm this information in your passport, right? Have you ever lost a passport or had one stolen? I'm going to say no. Select what best applies to you though. Next, contact person in the United States. If you do not have a contact person within the United States, you can specify an organization name. So I'm just going to say my name here. And for the organization, I'm going to say do not know. And for the relationship, I'm just going to say relative. They need to provide the address information for that relative, right? So I'm just going to pre-fill this. And for the email address, you can say it does not apply. Then select next to family. Now here you're going to specify your father's full name and date of birth as well your mother. For the simplicity of this application, I'm going to say do not know. That's all you need to provide though. And I'm going to do the same thing for mother's full name as well as given name. Do you have any immediate relatives not including parents in the United States? This could be a fiance, husband or wife, son or daughter, or a sibling, right? Brother or sister. So I'm going to say no. Then select next to education and training. From the occupation, select your occupation, right? I'm just going to put in some random information here again. However, ensure you take the time out and put in the information accurately because they will ask you about these things when you do go to the embassy. So for the start date, I'm just going to say the 1st January 2016, right? For the monthly income, I'm just going to say 200,000, right? Briefly describe what you do, not really required, but hey, it doesn't hurt. So I'm going to select next. Were you previously employed? I'm going to say no. Have you attended any educational institution at secondary level or above? If you do, select yes. It will just ask you for the information. However, I'm just going to select no, right? Then select next. Here you're going to specify the language that you will speak. So I'm just going to say English, right? And do you belong to any tribe or clan? I'm going to say no. Have you traveled to any country or region within the last 5 years? Select what best applies to you and it will ask us a string of other security and background information which I will say no to, right? And then select next. Same thing for part 1, same for part 2. However, make sure you take your time and read these questions accurately, right? I will do the same thing up to part 4. Like, this is a ton of questions to go over, guys. And here we are at part 4. So I'm going to select no. And this is the last section, right? Have you ever held custody of a US citizen? So for these, I'm going to select no as well, and then select next to photo. Now here is where you upload your photo. So select upload. Select choose file. Now select upload selected photo. So this passport quality passed the standard. If it did not pass, then you'll get an error and then you'll have to re-upload it. There are tons of web applications out there that you can use to resize your passport size photo. So here we're going to select next. We're going to select review. So this is a summary of all the information you provided during the application. Now if you need to change anything, just select the option with editing it, right? Now select next to travel, and it will do this for all the sections. So I'm just going to hit next. So ensure you take your time to review these information and ensure everything is accurate, because you don't want to be making any silly mistakes that you could have just fixed while you're reviewing the application. Now the next step is to sign and submit. So read this information thoroughly, right? Enter the passport number and then enter the code shown on the screen and then select sign and submit. Oh, I missed a question. Did anyone assist you with filling out this application? No. Now let's hit submit again. So you have successfully signed and submitted your application. You cannot make any change to your application at this point. Please click next to confirm and complete. So I'm going to select confirm. So guys, this is your confirmation page. You'll need to take this to the interview with you. Now you can print this page and save it as a PDF and print it at a later date. If you have a printer, you'll just select the printer option and then print it immediately. You can also email a copy of it to yourself by selecting the email confirmation, and it will email it to the address on file, or if you want to specify a different email address, then you select yes here and then specify that email address. However, I'm going to sit back to confirm. So the next step, guys, is to pay for your application and schedule your interview. I've done a step-by-step video on that using Jamaica. The steps are the same, so you can watch that video. The link will be in the description of this video or at the card. And guys, if you have made it this far in this video, I'd appreciate if you give me a subscribe. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Wait, I saved you a couple $100 maybe, so it would be the least for you to subscribe. So just kidding, guys. Take the time out, give me a sub. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.